what are the signs that a person should look for, either as a family member or as a friend or as a colleague? First, look for any changes in the pattern of behavior. Any usual pattern of behavior, how they usually show up, should alert you that something is going on. And even if it's more than a week to 2 weeks, you should take it seriously. It doesn't have to be extending for months and months. In fact, the threshold for psychiatric diagnosis like depression is 2 weeks. If someone has a symptom for 2 weeks, these symptoms, low mood, lack of sleep, etc., these few symptoms that we look at, we call it major depressive disorder. Whereas in the community, people go through it for months and years before.
Yeah.
So the threshold should be like a fever. How long before a colleague has a headache or a fever before you say, hey, something's up?
Yeah.
Same thing. Behavior's off. Person is irritable, angry, forgetful, withdrawn, showing up late, absenteeism. In work, I'm talking about now. Not doing their work, memory issues, communication changes. Interpersonally, as a friend, also similar things. Person is not patient, or they're looking withdrawn. Their clothing might change sometimes in terms of not taking care of themselves. Colors actually sometimes, rarely, but that can be a thing. Yeah. In bipolar disorder, we do see an association, by the way, that for many people, when there's a high mood, you pick bright colors. When there's a low mood, you pick grays, blacks, and neutral colors. So there's an interesting interaction between mood and color. But anyway, so appetite changes, usually decreased appetite, but could be increased appetite. Difficulty falling asleep, not being able to stay asleep, waking up feeling tired, memory issues, and then either feeling extremely anxious or extremely sad, feeling inappropriately guilty, and then hopelessness and helplessness. Now, this hopelessness and helplessness are highly correlated with suicide. When a person feels hopeless, that there's no hope, and helpless, I cannot change anything, and friendless and isolated, and if there's substance abuse, that now becomes highly risky. And by the way, demographically, what we know is that women attempt suicide twice as often as men, but men die by suicide 2 to 2.5 times as often as women. So there's a huge mortality gap between men and women when it comes to suicide, telling us that a lot more men will not show any signs until one day they do a very serious act of suicide.
You've treated some of the most successful people in the country, includes actors, athletes, and whatnot. Yet you've said that success can be psychologically toxic. How is achievement making us sick?
So when you look at what everybody is striving for, they're striving for two things that may seem contradictory. One is success, two is peace of mind. If you ask people what is the ideal life, they'd say, I want to be very successful and get all the benefits of success, which includes impact, money, power, social approval, whatever else is attached to that, meaning, purpose, etc. And they want peace of mind. Now, peace of mind also includes time away from doing achievement-oriented things, right? It could mean time for sleep, to nurture your health, to nurture relationships, to nurture hobbies that are not necessarily have an impact on your career. So this tension exists and has existed for a very long time, which is why for the longest time in our spiritual traditions, there is a school of thought and one way of articulating this that says you should detach. Go to the forest, let go of everything, and you will find peace. And a lot of people fantasize about that. Maybe most of us do at some level or the other. Occasionally you think about all the noise, all the problems, all this striving. Do I really want to strive or just be relaxed and just chill? So there is this tension in that sense between time spent towards achievement and time spent towards doing things that are not economically or career-wise in any way helpful in that sense, but are deeply, profoundly nurturing. There's another aspect to consider when you look at achievement, which is, what is your idea of your self-worth and how does that correlate with your drive for success? We live in a world where self-worth and net worth are considered equivalent. It's almost inevitable in a room today that the person given the most worth will often be the person with the highest net worth. is a strange thing when you think about it, because we all know deep down that that's not fair, that we shouldn't be judging self-worth on net worth. And so if we do that, then our self-worth will go up when our net worth goes up, and down when it goes down. And fortunes change, always, or can change in a lifetime. So how do we attach our sense of self? And I use net worth not just to mean the dollar amount or the rupee amount, but also the idea of success in itself.